Welcome to the East End of London. Not very Vegas, but very real. Up front, in your face, lively. There's a game going down here tonight, a very special game of poker. It's private, very private, no room for muppets. Now we've seen these faces winning world championships, test matches and gold medals. But can they cope with real pressure when there's notes in front of them and cards in their angles? This will sort out the men from the boys. Spontoolies on the table, I'm talking readies, and one of them gets the lot. This is poker how it's meant to be played. This is the real deal.
They've been queuing up to get in this game tonight. It's the turn of the snooker players. They're becoming notoriously good at switching one green base for another, with one of tonight's players taking home a £200,000 top prize in a tournament. These guys are serious about their cards. There'll be no mugs at this table. Let's see the lineup.
First in, David Gray. No, he ain't the one on the mic. He's the one with the cue. In seat 6, we call him Babylon. This ice cream's the one to watch. He's made a tasty pile out of poker, a $200,000 first prize in a tourney a few years back. He's got the cred and the rest of them know it. In seat 5, it's Matthew Stevens. The 6 times world champion has been poker commentating on the telly. Now he can finally put his money where his mouth is. In seat 4, it's Steve the Nugget Davis. This Welsh boy is fired up. It's not unusual for him to win a few bob on this type of green base. He's a serious contender tonight. In seat 3, it's Mark Sprog Williams. They call him the Predator on account of the fact that he'll hunt you down, chew you up and spit you out broke. The others have him down for a fish, but they've been reeled in. In 2, it's Paul Hunter. You need a bit of luck in this game, so if you're Irish, you're one step ahead. 4-leaf clovers at the ready. In seat 1, it's Crafty Ken Doherty. These snooker lot are used to sitting in the pots, and the fact that these ones are stuffed with 50s is going to make it sweet out.
3 former world champions, 6 of snooker's sharpest talents. The game may have changed, but today they're still hoping for big breaks.
Is he like that? Is he like that?
£1,000 each. The winner takes the pot, £6,000 in all. And also go forward to represent snooker at the final table with a chance to win another 20,000.
There's a turn up. That is so sad.
It's all about the accolades and the prestige as well.
Obvious thing you've done.
Now these 6 snooker players all know the game. They've all got a lot of experience playing. And there's also a real differing approach between some of them. Steve Davis has a reputation, as you might expect, for being quite a tight player. Mark Williams and Matthew Stevens, on the other hand, a little bit loose. It'll be interesting to see how that goes. And alongside me is a man who describes himself as semi-pro these days at poker, former Ireland footballer Tony Cascarino. Cass, who's your money on?
Well, it's going to be very difficult because there's some very good players. Out of all the players, all the heats and the other sportsmen, the snooker players, I would say, would be the best group. A good flop for Mark Williams here.
The 3 spades might be a concern for both of them on the basis that they haven't got any in their hands.
100.
Not nice for Ken. He's got the smaller kick up. He's got the aces and he's going to call, but if it comes a spade, it will certainly slow Mark Williams down.
Start the card with.
2.
We need a shuffle line.
And there is that spade. Now, which of them will take a gamble? Ken won't, not initially, and neither will Mark.
No, too risky, and Mark's fully aware one spade, and he's losing.
10.
Still too dangerous for either player to make a bet. I think Mark will be just comfortable enough. Oh, he's come out betting.
150.
It's a tester for Mark early on. It really is. Yeah, hell of a call because he knows. And he's spade and he's lost. He's got the ace with the biggest kicker, the king.
Yeah, 150.
Mark, it's such a hard play, this. Early on, first hand, find yourself in this situation.
I went home last time, didn't I?
Steve trying to put the pressure on.
Well, the only thing is he might think, well, he didn't bet on the turn card. He checked. Mark's thinking, well, can he have the aces and tens and have the smaller kicker? Chewing gum. Thinking away. Wouldn't be surprised if he lays this down.
Okay, you've got 30 seconds to act.
Well, you can't say he hasn't thought about it.
Well, it is a hard call, you know, either way. I'd said I wouldn't be surprised if he lays it down. It's such a hard one. The first hand as well, you know, you're looking at, oh, you could lose £300 or £400 immediately. He knows he's up against a very good bunch of players in the snooker, boys.
So first blood for Ken. And a big hand one.
Well, I haven't seen Ken play too often. I've played against Mark, I've played against Matthew Stevens. I've seen Steve Davis often on the telly. Don't know too much about David Gray, Paul Hunter. But Ken shows there's some hell of an Irish players out there.
I love a bluff. So I would get a better kick out bluffing. And particularly telling them or showing the cards when you bluff. And I think that's the good thing about poker is that, you know, you can have the worst hand and possibly still win. And it's how you play them. So I get more of a thrill out of bluffing and winning a big pot than actually winning with the nuts, you know. I think that's the great thing about poker. And particularly showing the cards is great.
Ace king in it.
He's had 4-figure wins in the past, Ken, so he's certainly not a mug. He's not the green rookie.
Well, it was a strong play. Nice hand for Steve Davis.
Raise to 60. Pass.
Matthew Stevens giving him the sire immediately, knowing that Steve's renowned for being a rock.
Call. Call.
No respect.
David and Ken with the pocket pairs both want to get involved.
And Paul.
Call.
Well, 4 players. The ace queen will look a lot weaker, and Williams calling just for pure value with the 6-10 of clubs.
It's not costing Mark too much to get involved and at least see the flop. He has got some live cards there.
You could easily see trips come on this sort of flop.
Oh, there's his 6 and there's another 6. One. And all of a sudden, with 6-10, he's hit the jackpot. Not only has he got a good hand, but he's got
Check.
Steve and Paul both with aces.
I would like to have seen Mark have a little bet there because he's got 5 other players or 4 other players in the pot with him, and they've all could be playing something. Could quite easily get outdrawn.
100.
Well, Ken thinks he's ahead with the 6s and 4s. We'll soon find out he's not.
Pass. Raised.
Check raise.
300. Pass. Pass.
Now Ken, boots on your foot now.
Pass.
Good play. Read it.
And as a result, Mark's got what he lost in hand 1 back and a little bit more as well. He's the chip leader at this very, very early stage, £1,180 in cash.
Well, it's a good play by Mark. You know, he's seen other people call in front of him and he's took the opportunity. 6-10 of clubs and thinks value's out there in the pot. I'll call the bet. He gets rewarded.
You don't care.
Let's have a look at the ranking of the hands. At the bottom of the ranking is the high card only. Higher than that is 1 pair, then 2 pairs. Then 3 of a kind, also known as a set. Next up, a straight, that's 5 cards in a row of any suit. Better than this is a flush, 5 cards of the same suit in any order. A full house is 3 of a kind plus a pair. 4 of a kind, of course, is self-explanatory. Looking for that straight flush through is 5 cards in a row, all of the same suit. And the royal flush is top of the pops, a straight flush, ace high.
Very reasonable, isn't it?
No. Yeah,
well, after front.
Pass.
I doubt he's going to get too much tighter in this game than throwing down ace 10.
Pass.
Early on,
Right.
maybe he didn't feel comfortable
Raise
with
to
playing the
60.
hand. Steve Davis has just raised with Jack 4. This is not the Steve Davis I know.
Still cool.
And you see, he's been saying,
Pass.
Cass, that he
Okay, well,
knows he
had a
has
better
this
hand, that
reputation for being such a
But that-
tight player, and he wants to change it. He wants to become more of a loose player.
He's got to. He's got to. I mean, he's got a massive advantage, Steve. If they all know that he plays very, very tight, then other players will be scared of playing pots against him because they know he plays big hands. So he can pick up weaker hands and play them quite strongly and nick pots.
What do you want to hit?
He mustn't show his cards, Steve. I think that's a big thing for him. He's got to try and convince everybody he's been getting lucky and picking up a lot of nice hands.
No, it's fine.
They look fairly relaxed, and they're sure they've got the perfect read on the nugget. It'll be the big old poker win by Matthew Stevens on TV last year that'll be making them a little uneasy. Let's hear what they say behind closed doors.
Matthew Stevens is probably the one with the most experience. He's won a big tournament, I think, with $500,000 for the first prize. So, you know, I suppose on paper, then he's the favourite to win.
Mark Williams is probably one of the most aggressive players I've played, and so it's going to be quite interesting today. You'll probably have Steve Davis not playing a hand for 2 hours, and then he'll probably come second without playing a hand. That's what normally happens.
Steve Davis is uncannily very steady. He's a rock. So if he goes in, I'm not following him. I don't care if I have aces, I'm not going in after him, no way.
Steve Davis is guaranteed to come in the top 2 because he won't play any hands for 5 hours. He's the only one that can sit there and not play a hand for 5 or 6 hours, but the rest of us will probably get involved and try and make you know, a few moves out there.
There is no doubt that I'd just like to turn Mark Williams over big time because I'd just love to see his face. If I can possibly mug him, oh, it would be so nice.
Oh, it's even better. That really hurts.
Yeah, but if an ace hits and you come out betting, I just want to fold anyway.
Jack 9, off suit for Paul Hunter.
It's on me.
It's up to you then. Raised 50.
I think he was just meaning to call there. I'm not sure that he wanted a raise. Paul.
Pass.
Only dealing 50s, isn't it? You don't do the silly one.
No, whatever, either give me tens.
Call.
Ken certainly looks like he likes to play a few different hands, as many as he can.
Just trying to keep you honest.
Queen, ace, 6.
Ace hit the queen.
Call that.
The ace, though, is going to obviously be a worry for him. Doesn't put Paul on an ace, he's checked first up.
9 times out of 10, you might come out of a bet just to try and find out where you are on the end. See if he has got anything to do with the ace.
King.
There's another overcard for him.
Yeah, if he checked first time, he's probably going to have to check second time.
50.
Gives him the option, of course. A 10 would be a lovely card for Ken here. And for Paul.
I was going to say, you could argue for both of them. A gut shot 10 for the pair of them. And with a rainbow flop, they would both have the top hand. The nuts. See what happens if a 10 comes.
10.
Both got the top hand. It'll be all in, but they'll be splitting it.
$150.
Raise.
Raise.
Ken will come back over the top, I have no doubt, for whatever.
That's what I said, it's going to be all in. But they'll find out after this next rave, they've both got the same hand.
It's 300.
Yeah. 150 more, 300. All in, re-raise, all in.
All in.
Split pot? Blackjack.
Queen
Yeah,
straight.
split pot.
Okay, do you want
All that action.
Yeah.
And very little money changing hands.
No, it was a loose call more so by Paul because he had nothing apart from the 10 where Ken had a pair of queens.
Right. Okay, now I can play his 10 now.
Such a lovely feeling to it.
Roughly close
The
together.
perfect card. Both of them had that. Didn't get any joy. Just had to split the money.
That's what I thought you might have had the ace, you know. That's what I checked on with the queen, you know. But when you rechecked, then I thought it doesn't have the queen. And then the king came up. I thought it must have the king.
Okay, sure, 20.
You know what I mean?
Any bet would have won it. I know you had a straight draw.
Well, if the 10 doesn't come on, I win it, like, you know.
Let's all
I don't know what
pros
did they
now.
have.
There'll be 6 professionals around this table. They're all talking about what they would do and checking and betting and the overcards.
Pass. Pass.
Now Matthew's going to get involved.
No, I
Hasn't played a
I
hand
got to
yet.
play one, right?
Right, frustrated with
Raise
ace 10
to
there.
David Gray picks up a nice hand, pair of
Re-raise
jacks.
to
I've seen the
150.
two of them.
That's the right call, the re-raise with a pair of jacks.
Sorry?
Matthew Stevens is just before
Go on, I'll
David
call
Gray.
it.
Is that a re-raise?
130?
Yeah.
30, 150.
I'm pretty sure Matthew Stevens will lay this down.
They have you
It's a
surrounded.
loose call from Paul Hunter.
I think you made him angry, lads.
I don't believe it. Matthew will raise.
It's got 50 now.
He's raised, he's been re-raised behind him. I think he'll pass.
He's either got to bet 50
Equity
or
membership
fold
in the
it.
post.
In airtime.
Well, David's got a nice hand. Only a king really, with 1-8 already gone from Matthew Stevens' hands.
Ace, 7, 9.
Check.
Check.
250.
David
250.
Jacks still the best hand.
Press.
Wave bet, big bet into an ace flop.
If I'd have seen that flop, I'd have...
Enough to scare Paul off without the ace, but
Yeah.
if he had ace 8,
2
he
clubs.
might have got his fingers burnt with that.
Most definitely.
6-8 of clubs.
But he had the
Straight
over pair,
draws
just
well.
hoping that the one that didn't have one of the aces.
Have his game.
Grab Dave.
Ace king.
They all think he's got ace king.
Yeah.
That's the only hand you
Pair of
got.
aces. Pocket rockets.
Do you know what? Even the
Probably had a pair
snooker
of
players are prepared to lie on it.
You sound surprised.
King.
6 grand at stake.
Getting closer.
Steve won't play that.
Pass.
Throw it out now.
Got rid of ace
Put your
10 earlier,
cards
but
there.
king 10 suited.
Call.
A different matter.
Pass.
Easy decision for David.
He's had a couple of pairs already, Ken. He's re-raising with a pair of 5s.
Raise to 100.
He's on the button.
Pass, it doesn't matter. He can't
Raise
play.
to 100.
And there's one of his 5s.
I could see his earlier on.
Pass.
King 10 as well, so there's another king 10. I think Matthew Stevens will call with his king 10 of diamonds. He's got a few of his
Pass.
cards out.
Yeah,
Mark Williams, 2 of them, a king and a 10.
I saw that one.
Yeah, could have put that one
Is
in.
it cool?
So they can't see it.
I did that one as well. Got that there.
And 2 diamonds
4,
as well.
9.
Ooh,
3.
this could be interesting.
Throw it out.
Check.
200.
200.
Ken likes the fact, obviously, that there are no picture cards down in that flop. And his 5's looking better. Little does he know that Matthew's got another 2 diamonds in his hand.
Raise
I was
all
about
in.
to say this could go
Call.
all in, and he's called. He's
All in
called
and a
it.
call. Cards, please.
What's happened?
He's got a lot of outs.
Flush draw.
Matthew Stevens.
What's he got?
Obviously the 10 and the king. That's the diamonds.
Wow, what a
So
call.
hand 8.
Well, he's been going
And it's
once
a
now.
really, really big hand. Look, Steve's eyes came out on stalks there.
Oh, Ken Doherty called immediately. Matthew's done nothing wrong. It's a normal play. 2 overcards plus a diamond draw.
Now he's got one
keep it
more
blank.
chance.
He's got 1 chance. He's got 9 diamonds. A 10 or a king.
And there is the diamond.
Okay, I'm going to count down this pile.
I'm not funny,
The
but he's
king
probably-
flush for Matthew Stevens.
It was on the flop.
And Ken
How you feeling it?
has been
14 out.
just about mortally wounded. He's not out, but he's down
And that's
his
what
last
finishes
£100
at man.
as a result
That's
of
how
that
mine
gambled
is.
with the
I tried to
5s.
get over to you one reach.
And Matthew's been paid.
Well,
Okay, 5, 6, 7,
the only thing
8,
that
10.
Ken can take, that he read it right, he was in front. That might console himself a little bit more
What do you call
because
it? Your
he made a
kings
great
there,
call.
Lisa.
Unfortunately, he's been outdrawn.
Overpair, he's
But there was
Jacks.
a lot of outs for Matthew Stevens. He takes the cash lead now.
There's a big cash lead at this early stage. And you can see that almost parity in terms of the number of hands won, but it's hardly parity in terms of the amount of cash that they've got. Ken down to his last ton already. 1 hand going against him.
80.
What does he do now? Needs to double up 2 or 3 times just to get back into contention. What's the best way for him to approach this, Tony?
I think when he's in a difficult scenario, he's going to have to take a gamble.
Pocket 7s.
I mean, raise it 100.
100 in total.
He is, isn't he?
Pass.
Bully. You bully.
Pass. Pass.
Go on, keep on.
Pass.
Come all in.
Going all in.
Oh, Ken, nice hand.
80.
You're only evens
Hey,
against
back.
Paul, but it's still a lovely hand.
No, I took 20 back. I took 20 back.
Every opportunity of doubling up, Ken.
80.
Really has got a chance. Only slight
You're in the
underdog.
hole.
That's right.
It's 80. 80 all in, yeah?
Oh,
Seven's not your lucky card.
Good time to draw ace king, but it,
7 of diamonds would probably come on as well.
as the players alluded there,
Well, he's in a decent enough position, Ken. You know, he
Got 2
can win
overcards,
these 50-50s
6 cards.
with that
to
sort of hand. It's a lovely hand. Not with that flop, though.
6, 4.
hit. Good night.
Not yet, Ken.
Taxi.
still got a 1 in 5, 1 in 4 chance. The odds
2.
diminishing all the time, further diminished by the 2 of clubs.
1, 10.
And that is the end of Ken Doherty inside 12 hands. It was the one big hand against Matthew Stevens that cost him. And Ken is the first player eliminated.
Sorry, Campbell.
Well, he's unlucky, Ken. You know, he made a good call on Matthew Stevens. He was winning, and he's lost the hand. You know,
Thank you.
it's a river card diamond.
Close the door on your way
Lost all
out.
his cash in that one particular hand.
I don't really know whether I played it right, whether it was like ballsy or no brainsy. But I had a pair of 5s and I put Matthew. Well, Matthew went all in. I raised 200, and he was on the flush draw. Well, he had a few overcards. He had a lot of outs, I suppose. And but I knew when the flop came, he's either was going to play the flush draw or he hadn't hit anything. So that's why with the pair of 5s I put him all in. I called the all in, because he was probably on the flush draw. But I thought my odds were pretty good. But he hit the 7 on the river, and that's it. Confined to history, as they say.
One player down, and Matthew Stevens, lucky on the river for that flush earlier, is looking strong. Ken Doherty couldn't bounce back from that one, but the others won't want Stevens pocketing the cash.
I just felt I sensed you had some. Perhaps I talked myself into it, but I was right.
You can tell that these guys earn their living by playing a sport which demands a lot of concentration and is invariably played in silence. There's not much banter going around the table during the hands.
No, they seem bright enough, and I think they've played with each other a lot, obviously on the snooker circuit. They've had a few games.
Slow it up.
Must have been bad, was it?
Really terrible.
The interesting thing we've had so far is that there have been 2 or 3 ace-king hands, and every one of them have come out second best so far. Against the smaller pairs.
I'm not too bad now, man. I don't you've done it for a bit. I don't you've done it for a bit.
I think you want to check them twice.
No, I don't say any for a bit.
Straight away?
No,
after the first check.
After the first
Not
check.
cold then, yeah. Just flat cold. Hope not to see a card bigger than
Telling
mine.
each other's game plans. So next time, who knows what to do, Steve?
Pass.
I think he's pretty solid. I don't think you can see too much from David Gray, judging by the early hands. Well, we know Paul's going to play at least raise.
I'll raise 100.
Just for a change.
100 in total. Pass.
Mark's not had the cards yet, really.
No, he hasn't. And Steve's going to call with A6 and he's re-raising. I think he's picked on the wrong person, because I'm pretty sure that Paul Hunter will definitely call at best. I don't think you're going to bully Paul Hunter at too easy off hands.
Okay. Re-raise is 200. 300 in total.
A call. So what is it, 300?
200.
200.
Yeah, 300 in total.
Didn't take him long to think about it, and he's in a good position as well. Win from here, about 7 hands out of 10. Paul against the ace-6 with his ace-10 suited.
See, if this comes a funny flop, a low one, this I think where Steve has to come out betting. He's first to speak.
Jack, 8.
I really do. I think he's got to use his rock reputation to his advantage.
300.
300 bet.
And that's what he's done. Well, he's not got any cash left really to do anything else, even if Paul Hunter sticks him all in, which I don't think he'll do. He's winning, but it's a tough call for Paul Hunter. I think out of all the players around the table we've seen so far, he's the one that is more likely to call.
Is it 300?
300.
It's in his eyes. He just wants to play. He just wants to stick it in.
Pass.
That's what I'm going back to, where Steve, just using it to his advantage. Coming out betting.
Benefit of being a tight player coming to Steve's aid there. He's now second in the cash stakes behind Matthew.
I got hot for about 10 seconds or so.
I've got fairly good patience, I've got fairly good card sense, but I just think I'm catching average. You know, I'm nothing special. I haven't got that sixth sense that you need to know where you are in a hand. I'm fairly tight. Well, I've been told I'm tight. Don't like to play bad cards, but I can experiment along the way. I might experiment today, depends how I see it. And usually I'm pretty aggressive if I've got a hand. So I probably think I'm fairly easy to read myself. So I suppose my game plan for the future for me as a poker player is to try and make myself a little bit more of a grey area.
What do you reckon that was?
I seen one ace under there.
£6,000, no strings attached.
Because you can't
£1,000
win
in,
when you had a hand. So
you win.
You
20 grand, 10 grand for coming second on the final table, 5 grand for coming third, and unfortunately you get
when it comes to
6,000 that you've won for this. But just imagine being on the snooker circuit. How many times they're going to mention? Remember that day in East London? Yeah, when I won.
I was trying to take my mind off.
Oh, it'd be the brunt of most jokes.
What I didn't have.
between the players. The players love playing against their own fellow sportsmen. They love it. They enjoy it so much.
Just looking for his 50s. The reserves.
You know, so many sports now, individual sports, there's not much bonding going on between the lads. Certainly couldn't accuse that of the snooker boys.
It has to be 18. Okay, pass. That's a call for 40.
Matthew's got a hand here. He just needs someone to come in with him, and it could be Steve.
Well, it's got to be a raise. He's got a couple of callers, so...
Got that smirk on your face, on your
He wants to get rid of her.
It's a bit weak, guys, too. Raise.
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 You don't want to play aces against 2 or 3 people. Try and get heads up with them. And hope someone's picked up a big hand with you.
180 more.
Raise is 180. 220 in total.
And we know David Gray will pass.
Come on, Bob along.
Bob along.
So it's 220 in total, isn't it?
Pass.
The only person who might call this is Paul Hunter. The rest, Steve will go. Yeah. He just wants to play every hand
He is far and away the loosest player around this table, isn't he?
Call.
Well, he's in danger if it comes just a jack or a 10 and it's the top pair. Steve, you're not going to call. I can't believe Steve Davis is going to call this.
No, he's folded it already.
Yes.
Thank you.
This is a pretty loose call. He doesn't want to see just a jack or a 10 on his own.
Oh!
No. This is going to be serious trouble for Paul Hunter. He's going to have to get very lucky because I don't think he's going to get away from this hand. Certainly Matthew Stevens is not. He's going to be going all the way with it. This is going to be bet, raise, if not all in,
160
and then call the all in. Certainly going to be a raise. Pull up the sleeves.
Call.
Only
160 called.
Well,
It's a call, and you
don't.
we all paid to miss a vote.
Nothing wrong with that.
Matthew, the only thing you could be worried about is this jack pairing up really. Still top pair. So Matthew will come out betting again, and I'm pretty sure Paul Hunter will at least call. This could be all in.
What's you got left?
This could be an all in.
What's you got left?
Paul started this hand with
Is that what
less
you're
than £600 in
No, I
cash.
was wondering what you got left.
840 quid in the pot already. Just asking Paul for a counter. And he's going to, I think, make Paul put everything in if he wants to carry on going in this hand.
That's the bet.
220 bet.
Probably some 80 with.
220 bet. And Paul will call, obviously. And there could be some lucky shouts here. You can still win, Paul. You're going to have to get lucky. But you can hit a 10 or a jack.
Gonna make a 2-hour program.
5 outs. Commissioner Hunter. 1 opportunity to try and stay in this competition.
Got lucky that there weren't any 10s or jacks in the other players' hands, but he doesn't know that, of course. They're all in the pack. That wasn't one of the cards he needed. And Paul follows Ken out the door very, very early. Matthew Stevens has disposed of the pair of them. These snooker players, they love spending their time putting things in pockets. Paul not putting anything in his from this tournament.
Well, we did say that Paul was the loosest player on the table. And, you know, he prepared to take a risk.
Ken Doherty and Paul Hunter both out. Matthew Stevens has almost trebled up inside the opening 17 hands. He's got more than Steve and Mark put together. And David, he's been very tight so far. Only played 4 hands. He's in profit as well.
I was just glad that I went first out. I'm glad, you know, obviously Ken went out before I did. And yeah, it was good fun out there.
Matthew Stevens is flying over half the cash on the table in his hands. And all that cash will make you ferocious and fearless with your bets. If he starts to bully now, the others will have no choice but to give as good as they get. Let's get back to the game.
4 of the original 6 remain.
Do the walk in.
Matthew Stevens with the advantage at the moment. And the other 3 quite similar to each other. Matthew, very different to them. He's got Steve, who is renowned for being a tight player. David has played only 4 of 19 hands, and Mark just 3 of 19 hands. So what sort of problem does that give Matthew?
Well, I think he'll be aware that the other 3, when they're up against him, they've got hands. They're not going to be trying to out-bluff him. But he's got enough, again, he's picked up a pair, Matthew, but he's got enough cash in front of him not to be wiped out, and he can continue play aggressively. Because I don't think any one of these will call if he makes raises unless they pick up big hands.
120 in total, raises 80, pass.
Mark's picked up a hand.
Call.
He's called. Steve, I'm sure, won't, definitely not with that.
Pass.
He's been in this position before, hasn't he, Matthew? We spoke earlier. He'd won a tournament. He won a large cash sum, so he's been here. He'll have a little bit more experience, an edge over the others.
Check. Ace.
That makes
3.
him interested.
Check.
2 overcards. He's checked. Matthew will check. I'm pretty sure. Oh. He's going to carry on his bully boy tactics, but I don't think it'll work on Mark Williams.
150 bet. $150 called.
Just a call. No over the top raise. Just trying to milk the potential of his hand for all it's worth.
Check. 6. Check.
And a heart draw as well for Mark Williams. So he's got a lot of outs. He's got a check, and he's still. Really, I'm pretty certain he will have Matthew Stevens all in. He'll put all his cash in. Mark with the heart draw as well, and the top pair.
All going all in.
Played it very well, Mark. Give him full credit.
Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 670 in total.
470 more.
It's not a lot for the size of the pot, but I think Matthew's going to work out that he's going to have to draw to at least 2 cards to have any chance of winning this pot. And that makes it very difficult to call, even for a relatively small sum compared to what's in the middle. It'll be very, very loose if Matthew called this. I just cannot see it. He's far too experienced poker player to even consider this.
He's only actually been playing poker for 3 years, but he does have an extreme amount of experience. Doesn't play in too many tournaments, but was the UK Open champion back in 2004.
Well, Mark's played an awful lot. He played against Mark a couple of years ago in Brighton, and he went a long way in the competition. Good standard, Mark Williams. If he gets cards, I'll tell you what, he'd be the biggest threat to Matthew.
Taker.
Pass.
Good leave.
Yeah.
Shows a 10 of hearts.
Aggressive play by Matthew. There's not too much wrong with that. He just happened to walk into a very big hand.
6 million
with lots of outs as well.
What do you have?
Ace King.
Ace 10 of hearts.
Ace King again. I think you'd have called there, Matthew, for £460, was it?
Yeah,
the
I
bet?
didn't even know the suits till I looked this at when you had the other one.
Absolutely.
Pass. Pass.
Be interesting to see exactly how David would play a really big hand. Steve will get involved with his pocket eights, no doubt
120 in
about
total,
that.
raises 80.
Matthew, well, might pretend to mull it over, but
No, it's a real nothing type of hand. One high card, one low, not even suited. going to have to get very lucky on a flop with a hand like that, or you're going to have to just play strong and try and bluff somebody on it off it.
Yeah. I didn't have ace 10.
Last
King
hand
10
at level
last
2 then. The blinds at the moment.
£20
and £40. They'll move up after this hand to 30 and 60. Getting bigger all the time.
Good move. Oh, it is 10. Right.
This desperation.
Yeah, they're getting bigger, but there's still, either one of them can do a big damage to anyone they come up against with the lowest cash count. David Gray still got 1,090.
Call.
Throw an ace 10 down really early.
Call.
Four-handed, and it's a
Raise?
different game.
No raise.
Call from Matthew. David on the big blind finds himself playing a hand which is a rarity, and he's hit the 8, but Steve's hit 8 and 9.
Check.
And Matthew's hit the ace.
Check.
Check.
Steve's got to come out betting. But this is the sort of hand that Matthew can get away from. A very weak bet, and that's certainly a call, maybe a raise from Matthew.
Call.
David, great. Be interesting if it doubles the 8 or the 9 with Steve.
10.
Ooh, gives more outs. Matthew Stephen, a jack and a 6 now.
Check.
Steve's got to make a bigger bet.
100 bet.
It's too small. That's going to be a call at least.
100 called.
What should he have put in there to bully Matthew out of the pot?
I'd like a bit more. I'd like to 250. You know, put a bit of pressure on Matthew to try and pass the hand. If
3.
I think it'd have worked out that Matthew's probably got an ace with a not the greatest kicker. So Steve could get away with a 250 type of bet here and could get called.
Two pair.
He's checked it. Two pairs a lovely hand, even 5 card.
How's the hand at this level? The new blinds are 30 and 60
think he
pounds.
I think
we're going to change our deal.
That's the risk of you bet. He comes over the top. What do you do then?
Yeah, I know. I didn't want that to happen. I just didn't.
Saying that if he made a bet and Matthew
I didn't think he had ace.
comes over the top,
the other one come out, right?
gets him off the pot.
Played it slippery, didn't it? Checking.
Well, that can conceivably happen, so Steve felt it was right to check on his 2 pair.
Without losing any more money, didn't he, if you just check with him?
Yeah, I got it because I got a raise.
And as the blinds go up again, 30 and 60, it is a hand that has just bunched them all up again. Matthew back down under the £2,000 mark, having been up at 2,700 at one stage. All 4 players that are left have more than the grand they originally started with.
Something silly going on.
This is going to be tricky because all these 4 really know what they're doing. So it's going to be real good poker play that's going to get the winner out of this heat. You know, 2 boys before have left us. Didn't do anything really wrong. Ken Doherty really unlucky. It's outdrawn. Paul Hunter likes to play hands. Just unfortunately walked into a pair of aces.
It's 30-60 now, isn't it?
30-60.
Oh, the nugget is.
Sorry.
Pass.
Thanks.
Suited connectors for Matthew.
This right. He'll keep going. He'll keep doing this, Matthew, and rightly so.
Raise to 120.
Mentally folded.
120.
David won't get involved. Mark, though, will.
60 to call.
That's because he has a pair of 8s.
Call.
Mm.
Seven, 6, 5.
And with a pair of
Check.
8s, when 7-6-5
Play
comes
check.
down, that isn't a bad flop at all.
Oh, I wanted a bet there from Mark. You know, a pair of 8s, plus he's got the either end on the straight. Now he doesn't want an 8.
5.
2 pairs for Mark.
60.
Yeah, well played. I'm out bet him.
Call.
Still got a 9 and a 10 and an 8. So he's got a few outs, although Mark's got 2 of them.
3.
So it's Mark's hand if he can
Check.
come in for the kill. Started with a check.
Well, he'll definitely get called here. I don't think
150.
Mark will be scared of the 4 for the straight.
Call. And clear your hands, please. Okay, 5s and 8s.
And that's enough.
Take it.
Mark Williams with the 2 pairs becomes the new cash leader.
You're going to go with that.
Not been a great 10 minutes for Matthew. He's not done anything wrong necessarily, just not really had the...
Don't tell no.
He's had it before.
Why you're revving up?
Close to doubling up now with 1,900 odd pounds. Matthew down to 1660, 250 behind him, and then Stephen a further £250 adrift in the third.
This snooker heat is getting meaty. These 4 are singing pots all over the place, but there's only one of them walking out of here with 6 grand in their skyrocket.
Is that like Matt?
And at the moment, he has a lead of 230 quid over David Gray. As you can see, next to nothing between the 4 of them, really. Only separated by £550, the 4 that are still left in after Ken and Paul's early exits.
There's one. Oh, again, there's the other one. Matthew Stevens. Don't get too excited, Matthew.
Stay there.
Raise.
And that's 5-6 gone from David Gray.
Okay, to 150. Pass.
Of what we've seen so far, Mark would have no intention of calling
Pass.
this. Nor Steve.
Pass.
Oh, aces. 2 times today. No rewards.
Bullets count for nothing.
Twice, he's had them.
Oh, he's upset.
Oh, no. I had to early on check the cards on the thing. 2 aces.
All right there with him? Kind of hands coming?
No. How many times? Are you going to get many more or just share them out?
Normally I have a 4 to 5 in an hour. 4
4 or 5 in an hour. I'd love 4 or 5 a week.
Call. Pass.
Tempted to raise there with David's hand.
Call.
He's going to get the call, obviously, from Steve Davis. King 10.
No raise.
Only Mark not seeing the flop,
7.
which has
ace,
an
5.
ace for Matthew.
Check. Check.
David looking, trying to represent an ace.
150.
150, love.
Yeah.
You've got to put a 10 in there.
So this will worry Matthew Stevens because he knows, he's been saying all the
150.
time that David Gray is renowned to be a rock.
Pass.
I think he'll just flat call this. And he'll be concerned because the reputation might make it a lot more difficult decision for Matthew.
Call.
Now, can David Gray follow through with another big bet? Because I think that's the only way he's going to get Matthew off this hand.
6.
And Matthew now has the up and down straight chance as well with the 6, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8
Check.
or a 3 will give him a straight.
Red checked.
I think he's read it. David Gray, he's in a lot of trouble. Oh. But it's still dangerous because the 9 could be quite considerably out there.
Okay. Queen high. Ace.
We might take a bit of criticism here, but they're going to give him a bit of jokes, David. I'm sure the players. About him being a rock.
That's the most wry of wry smiles yet today. Fingers caught in the jar there.
100, Steve, please.
Matthew and David yet to win. Got decent titles to their name, of course.
I'm there now.
Okay.
Just
Matthew in poker terms as
eking
well.
it out. In dribs.
Thank you.
Dribbed it.
Pass. Call.
Good call there. King 9. Clubs,
Call
nice hand.
and option.
Probably could have lost one player with a little bit of a bet. Certainly would have lost Steve if he made a raise.
No raise.
Low cards help Steve.
King.
Well, Queen, King 9. David Gray
Check.
is laughing. 2 pairs.
Check.
And not just that, but Mark's hit middle pair, so
240.
we'll think that he's
240 there.
in decent shape. That might scare him off though.
Yeah, that would definitely scare. I'm pretty sure Mark will put this hand down. Pair of queens. 7 kicker. Not the nicest. At least want a jack or an ace with it. To have a gut shot straight or a big overcard. I'm not sure Mark will call this. He hasn't showed that he's prepared to play second pairs often today, and he's read it right 9 times out of 10. Be a little bit different if he had Queen 10, Queen Jack in his hand. He could still hit a middle pin and get a straight. With this 7, he could hit it, it'd be all in, and he'd be well behind. Very dangerous flop. He won't
Pass.
call. No. Never expected anything different there
Made you
from
sweat a
Mark.
bit. Yeah, he made you sweat a bit. Crossbar, was it?
Queen.
Matthew Stevens, all of a sudden, is the cash leader again, having been cash leader way out in front for a while, went back down to 4th, and now finds himself the leader, but still just £320 between all 4 of them. There's plenty of poker left in this one.
He's bluffing. Queen 10 all in.
Nice hand again. That's where the one where he really wiped out Ken Doherty, wasn't it? King 10 of diamonds. He's up against a better hand in King Queen of clubs,
No
though.
raise.
I like that one.
Could well see some action on this hand.
That's a bit tricky, that.
They're both linked in.
Crap.
Two time for him, is it?
H2.
And it's Steve that's hit the pair.
Check.
Top pair.
100.
100 bet.
Good play by Steve. Trying to find out where he's on the hand. Is it second pair? He doesn't believe any of the other 2 have got anything to do with the 8-6 deuce flop. Good play.
Pass.
Matthew respecting Steve's reputation there.
Call.
It's called. Mark Williams, first time we've seen Mark play a little bit loose so far.
King, check.
It's been rewarded though.
And you can't believe, Mark, what he's just...
200 bet.
And Steve really is in the mire with his hand. 4 or an 8 is his only saviour.
No? I'll check it.
He's checking blind.
And let it check. Okay. Queen, checked.
He's checked blind, but he's got kings and queens. He's only going to get a check out of Steve. Steve will not take an attempt.
Oh, I knew I could do that.
Bit of a lesson there for Mark. I think he realises that he, although he probably wouldn't have got paid at the end, it was such a good card, there was no reason to just check.
It's Mark that ends up with the money though. That was one of the bigger pots we've seen so far at 39 hands, and it's taken Mark over 2,000 for the first time. He has a lead of £670 now over David.
Oh, I have. Got it here.
David and Matthew almost level.
You could have put the 50 in.
Steve bringing up the rear at the moment of the 4 that are left in, but he's still in profit, £1,040. And that constitutes 10 big blinds, so long, long way to go yet. And these 4 snooker players desperately trying to pocket the reds and the blues and the browns as well.
Okay. I'll get this ready.
All have breaks to a certain extent so far, except for the 2 that are out. Paul Hunter and Ken Doherty, both leaving us inside the opening 17 hands. We've progressed now to hand number 46, so we've been 4-handed for a while.
Pass.
Again, David here,
Pass.
I think, can come out with a bet there with that hand. Okay, would have walked into Mark Williams, but you can make bets and get away from the hand as well.
Raises 260. 360 in total.
What do you do, Steve?
Race.
I was going to say, could be the danger of an all-in.
Not bad. I'm all in.
That's 700. Should be 720, 360. 720 should be the raise. It's 360 in total.
All right, sorry.
Should be 720 for. Okay, and that's an all-in.
So Mark's all in now.
That's not what I wanted to hear, Mark.
Not what you wanted to hear, too right, it wasn't what you wanted to hear. Ace 4.
Steve might not have enough cash to get away from this, knowing the pot size is 2,680. He's going to look at the pot odds, and yeah, he's behind, and you know he's got to outdraw Mark Williams. It might be too much in there for him to pass. 150 a round.
What you got?
It'll be very, very difficult for Steve to lay this down.
Pass.
Well, he has laid it down.
Yeah.
And he's done, well, he's probably done the right thing.
It's only the right thing that he's still in the game. But the problem you've got is that you're very low stack now, with money down to 470.
I don't want to turn over. I know what you had.
What?
Something better than I had.
Sometimes you need to have to just get lucky in poker.
You see, that's luck. the luck is.
And that big pot has given Mark Williams a healthy lead now. 2,680. And that's what.
And then when he's re-raised,
5.5 times what Steve has in last place.
All right.
Big blinds going up. Steve all of a sudden hasn't got that many hands now.
See, the problem that Steve had there is, although he only had £470 left in cash, the obvious, he had to call. Because there was, what, 5 times the amount in the pot. So he's getting 5 to 1 his money.
What's the story?
And he wasn't a 5 to 1 shot, he was a 3 to 1 shot.
300 total. Uses 200.
I picked that one.
Value, Steve had to call. All in.
All in.
He's desperate, I'm sorry.
And Matthew and David both coming in behind him will like the look of that. They'll think he's on tilt because he alluded to it about 5 minutes ago when he lost a hand. That he then picked the next one up on the blinds and mentioned it himself. And he said, "Oh, it's so easy to go on tilt." Now, do they think that he has gone on tilt just by going straight in with that after a bad hand?
Steve's in actually fantastic position here because we know they've got hands with the aces.
Pass. 270 back.
Don't like this.
A disciplined pass by
like
Matthew, but David has called now. David's ace-6 is suited, Matthew's ace-8 weren't suited.
Yes, he died.
Ace 9 against ace 6.
Well, the thing is, again, David,
Steve's in front.
Gray has called, knowing he's probably behind. He might just have to get lucky to knock out a player. He's still in the game.
Steve's about a 2 to 1 on shot here.
Obviously.
Doesn't want to see a 6 or too many spades. Oh, there's the 6.
3-6.
Is that a 6?
That goes back to the hand before, what I was talking about, where you look back and you need to get lucky sometimes. Now Steve is a big outsider.
2 to 1 on, he's 7 to 1 against. He's a
What's that? Is that another 6?
huge outside and out to the extent that he knows he's done.
Well done. Cheers.
Steve's walking.
Could have done 90. Cheers.
Well played. Well played.
Good luck, lads.
Some inspiration, but
See you later.
no nuggets of gold in the end for Steve Davis. And he is the third to leave. And the 6 we started with are down to 3.
Yeah, I think Steve should have called the hand before when he had the slightly weaker hand. David Gray chose to go up against Steve. Okay, gets lucky and it's a 6. Steve didn't do really anything wrong.
There's a lot of experience around, you know, the lads, especially Mark and Matthew, have played plenty, and David Gray's been playing poker for longer than all of us apparently. So they all, you know, they sense when there's something out there. So it's going to be very difficult to get the money out of somebody early. But now it's getting to the stage where the blinds are big enough. People have got to make moves. There's going to be a few all-ins soon.
Steve Davis, Paul Hunter and Ken Doherty all out. Mark Williams, David Gray and Matthew Stevens, the 3 players left in, but who will be able to go all the way? Take it through to the final frame, the heads up.
All in.
All in. Raised, all in.
The count, please.
How's that for an enormous bluff?
Well, David Gray's asking for a count. Has he seen something that we haven't? He hasn't played too many loose hands, and King Deuce is not particularly pretty. Be amazing if he calls this. He'd take half of his stack, or just over, piled up there.
Okay, 1,020. Pass.
I don't think Mark will call. He won't want to double Matthew Stevens up.
Pass.
Pass.
First one was alright. Was it? King.
I think his pulse was racing just for a minute.
Oh, he'd have been nervous there, especially when he got asked the question by David Gray. How much is it?
50, 150, 300. Yeah, you haven't got really another bet, have you? I do. Raise 4 we wanted. Call. I'd rather be doing all. I'd rather make you.
Pass.
I think David's one of the three who's probably going to wait for a hand more so than the other two.
Call.
Good shape, Matthew, in this hand. Got the stronger overcard.
No raise.
And down comes the ace.
Nine.
So
Check.
Matthew in a very good position now. His pair of aces, but can he exploit the situation?
Both checked.
Good check there by Matthew. Impressed with that. You think Mark won't think he's got an ace?
King. Check.
And the king is checked. I think it's a case of having a bet, Matthew.
300.
Well, this could be a very significant hand because the spades might come into play as well. They're not going to in terms of the cards that either Matthew or Mark have, but they might in terms of their thinking. Just wondering whether there is a flush draw out there.
Well, it was good play by Matthew because he only gets called here because I don't think Mark thinks he's got an ace.
Six. Check.
Both on two pairs, aces and sixes, kings and six.
Yeah, good. King.
Well, he knew his hand. He read it right, Matthew.
And an acknowledgement as well from Mark Williams that it was well played.
The UK Open, that was $500,000, so that was nice. That was more than any snooker win. So to win it at poker is an extra bonus. Probably play with Mark the most, once every couple of weeks, or on the circuit, and nice to knock him up.
When it paid up and ran, I thought you had a king as well, and then my kicker didn't make any difference then because the ace, is it?
Call. Call.
There's a hand.
Okay.
No raise. Seven.
Out
five,
come
four.
3 clubs. Matthew
Check.
Stevens has a 9 flush.
Any clubs, Dave?
David Gray has a
Oh,
flush
yeah.
draw.
He has a middle pin straight draw as well.
$300.
300.
That's the danger of Mark Williams not raising before the flop because he wouldn't have come up against the deuce 9. Matthew would have passed. I think you've got to keep applying the pressure. He had the advantage of the most cash.
David's looking at it and he's thinking that he's got
Flush draw. He's got to hit it. Oh, Matthew's already got his.
another club comes down and Matthew
300.
inevitably will start panicking because his better club is only the 9.
Cool.
Call.
It's a low club that comes down.
Oh, I'm not sure about this call by David because he's really dead to one club, and he might not know, but certainly Matthew Stevens could have one club conceivably himself.
King.
I think Matthew will just move all in. I might want to give another card to David. 1,000 in the pot already.
There it goes.
think it's all going to go in.
If you say check after all this.
Just wondering how much it was.
Bit of cinema, certainly from Matthew. He's going to go all in, I know he is.
And David knows it as well.
He certainly doesn't want to be given a free card, because if he does get lucky and decides to check, and it comes over a club,
all in.
All in.
Took him some time to think about it, but it's definitely the right move. And David quick to pass. And that's a really good hand for Matthew Stevens. The 9 flush, putting him back into a very solid second position now, only a couple of £100 behind Mark. See 2,420 to 22.20. And David a little bit further adrift now with just £1,400, but it was a good hand by Matthew Stevens, well played. Three-hand poker, the action always on the man with the button. And Queen 10, plenty for David to want to get involved with. Only a call though.
Low stacks on cash, got the least at the table. Again, much prefer David to come in with a raise. He'll definitely call, I'm sure of that. Just for value.
Call.
Okay.
No raise.
Risky play by Mark Williams. It's not a nice hand. He's thinking if it comes a real funny flop and it hits him, he could get it always.
Jack 10, 7, check.
David has the second pair, the 10s.
Check.
There's no danger really in this hand. All the other guys have got. Because if it comes
All
a
in.
9, he hits a higher straight.
And
Or he hits a, sorry, he hits
Pass.
with a queen, but he hasn't got the straight, and they're both hitting a gut shot straight, which is a very difficult play to make.
Pass.
So the all-in enough to take just a little bit back. And he moves back over the £1,000
I don't
again.
even know why I even called.
And nice hand did. Well, I like that. I had 8-6 clubs.
Oh yeah, I had 8-3 at it.
I quite like that.
I wouldn't mind you a free card for that little 9. Like.
Yeah.
Both want free cards.
I like that hand though. You'd have to lose big deal.
Heads up will be entertaining if it is Mark against Matthew.
It's under there.
Both know each other's game quite well.
Yep. They'll talk every hand, and what a nice hand there for Mark Williams. Nice pair of jacks on the button.
Raise. It's 400 total.
400 this way.
Well, there's a player in America, Brian Wilson, well known on the circuit for being an absolute lunatic. 4-7 suited is his favourite hand, and he normally moves all in with it. Matthew Stevens decides to pass.
It's really thick there, nothing anyway. You see?
Oh, the extra one, I was scared as well.
No, it would have worked if he had anything half decent, wouldn't it?
I don't know, flat call, yeah.
The ace is now already 900.
Yeah, I got aces twice, I raised them twice.
That's my best hand before the flop, that was. 8s before that.
I got aces twice, alright. Half not really.
61 hands into the tournament. And still we have 3 players left. was all over when the rugby players have played 60 hands.
He's my blind alone, Dave, please.
I think the presenters as well had...
You expect rugby players to be a bit more aggressive though, wouldn't you, Jim?
They were getting bored. Low attention span. Austin Healy impressed in that.
Raised to 350.
Who'll be joining him in the final? One of these three. David Gray, all in.
Well, David, I don't think he wants to see the flop. I think he's got to go over the top. Pair of sevens, three-handed. Just stick it all in.
It's 280 finish to kill.
Two things can happen. Matthew Stevens can decide he ain't going to put the extra bit of cash in. He can win the hand, and also his pair of sevens can stand up.
I'm all in.
Raised all in. Push that to me.
Sorry.
All in raise, and a few eyebrows went with it. They were raised as well. Mark won't play. Jack 2 offsuit.
I think you need to count just to see if it's can be considered. Made a raise.
Can we take 350?
Now, if Matthew were to win this hand from here, they were going to the heads up here against Mark, and there'd be only 20 quid between them going into the heads up.
It's going to cost you another 710.
It's another 700, which gives him 2 to 1 his money.
Pass.
At the end of the level.
Difficult.
He's not. Be 100
he's only
and 200
just a slight
pounds.
underdog, but
We're going to change our dealer.
he could quite conceivably have ace king or king queen.
Getting towards the business end now. Mark Williams still with a very, very healthy lead. Nothing between the other two though. David Gray and Matthew Stevens with just £50 separating them.
Even
Standard has been good.
Yeah, I felt before they started the snooker boys would be the toughest heat to be in, the group of death, as you would say. Felt it'd be very, very tough. A lot of these boys play not only internet poker but play poker regular.
Raise it.
Raise.
Attractive hand from Matthew Stevens.
Might as well go in.
He's going all in now. David, it's not the Stonewall pass that it might be, although Queen 10.
Oh, it's a very, very difficult one. It's a nice hand, but is it a calling hand of an all-in? And you basically leave yourself £250 if you lose it.
Oh, Matthew. Okay.
Yeah, I think he's got it right there, David. It's a very, very hard call. It's okay being the one that makes the move, but calling it's tricky.
No point in raising up, I think, is there? You know what I mean?
Unless you can pass.
Yeah, I'm going to pass with 400 left. 100, 200 of blinds. Rather get called than get caught. Get on to the way.
Well, they're all very adept at putting spin on the cue ball. I haven't seen too much spin being put on these hands so far. Not that much in the way of bluffing. They've all just played the percentages recently. There've been no out-and-out moves.
500.
500 in total raises. 300 pass.
Ace 9. Matthew Stevens.
Good.
Mark Williams has passed. He's dressed like the Unibomber. He has put the hood over his head on a couple of occasions. Done a bit of boxing in his time, hasn't he, Mark Williams?
I'll take your word for that.
Oh,
he's certainly bigger than me. Certainly taller than me.
I remember watching a documentary about Mark, and he's done a bit of boxing in his younger years.
Comes from boxing hinterland, doesn't he? The Welsh valleys.
There's a few tough boys over there. Interesting how David plays this one. He's made a raise. Unfortunately, he's walked into Matthew Stevens. He's going to stick him all in, I would imagine. He's having a second look. Well, this will be a call, most definitely.
All in.
Going all in.
No chance of passing.
Matthew's gone all in now. David is going to have a week out of his stack.
Don't think he's got an option. He knows he's behind. Don't think he's got enough to pass. If he counts the pot odds, they're going to have to get lucky. 1,900.
Okay.
So he's gone
Okay, we've got an all in and a call.
Walked into that.
Likes the long pots, but does he like the long shot? Doesn't appear to. King 7 against Ace King. He really needs to see some sevens.
A king, sorry.
Well, like you see there, 3-to-1 shot. Seen this happen so many times where the 7 comes on the board.
6, 10, 3. No help for David.
It was a 7 on the river that did for Ken a long time ago. And is it going to save David?
Oh, I thought that was a
4.
Another couple of outs now, isn't he?
4 for a middle pin draw.
Shot, well done, that.
Didn't come down on cue. And David Gray leaves going all in with King 7 against Matthew Stevens, Ace King. And the ace high takes hand 66 and takes with it David Gray. It's Matthew Stevens against Mark Williams in the Snooker Sports Stars Challenge. Heads up.
I enjoyed it. You know, towards the end when the antes went up, I didn't really hit much and was getting chiselled away. So I decided to make a move at the wrong time, and then I probably shouldn't have called the over raise, but never mind. Always next time.
Okay, time for a break. David Babylon Gray leaves the East End with zilch. It's only the table winner that'll take home all the cash and get that seat in the final table. Then the best players in each sporting field will meet for large quantities of £50 notes. Matthew Stevens and Mark Williams are both experienced poker players, and any sign of friendship? Not when there's £6 grand on the line.
Good friends away from the table. They swap one set of green bays for the other. Matthew with a slight advantage, but only a slight advantage coming in to this head-to-head. Those are the important statistics. They've won an almost identical amount of hands. Their bet frequency is really similar. Matthew Stevens has had a bigger pot win than Mark. They've both not been down under £800 at any stage, and there's only 500 quid separating the pair of them going into this final heads up. The blind still at this stage 100 and 200, so nothing between them.
And the pride of being the top snooker player.
Call and option.
Well, King 2 is certainly above average hand.
No raise.
Nee, Sonny.
Did you get gelijk?
Same as last time.
Ace 7, 3.
Shouldn't have said that.
Check, check, all checked.
Matthew said his pair of sevens.
I'll keep a straight pace.
10.
Ooh, 10s and 7s for Matthew. A nice hand.
Check.
A good check. He's trying to get a bit out of Mark Williams.
Check, all checked.
Mark's having none of it.
Queen.
$400.
400 bet.
It's only doubling the money in the pot. Only twice the big blind. Showing he's got something playable, but not showing that he's got an outstanding hand.
Well, he's got the king, hasn't he? top high kicker. Yeah. Still very, very difficult to call.
Could be in front there.
Pass.
Sure.
It was. Sneaky kid.
I think they're both Mr. Sneakies.
King Deuce I did the flop before. I nearly called that one just to see.
What's for about 200?
Put an ace down here.
Hope we would. I hope we did have an ace. I won 10.
Which of these two is going to be going in off? And which is going to be going in with £6 in his pocket?
Call. And option.
4.
Queen 8 suited and ace 8 offsuit.
So raise.
4.
4 more.
Yeah.
400 more.
Well, they've both got playable hands.
6 in total.
If it comes an 8 on the flop when it is the top card, there'll be a lot of danger. Well, he's
Pass.
past it, Matthew. Every hand they're showing to each other.
A lot of respect there.
A lot of information.
What's your take on that? How much do you show a hand winning or losing to?
Yes, well.
Very rarely.
It's better than my other kick.
Very rarely. I do show now and again, but these two would know each other's games. It's a little bit different from a normal poker tournament because they probably know each other inside out, what they're capable of, if they're able to bluff in a certain situation.
No, probably not, no. It's hard, isn't it? Call.
Call. And option.
No raise.
No raise.
Well, they'll see the flop. Somebody might well hit something.
7, 7, 3.
And 7. First 7 not unattractive to mark, but nothing else to
Check,
go with it,
check,
really.
All checked. 10.
Now the 10 favours Matthew.
And gives Mark a gut
Check.
shot straight.
200 bet.
Call.
200 called.
One of the 9s that Mark wants for that, of course, is in Matthew's hand.
Queen.
Queen doesn't
Check.
help either. Matthew with 2 pairs.
Say,
Going to
pair
take
of
the money.
sevens, Queen, 10, 8. Pair of 10s and 7s.
Yep. Matthew now with a slight advantage.
NH. Nice hand.
£900 between the two of them. Queuing up for the prospect of £6
They're about the same, is it?
Surely.
Started.
It's a nice little pot, isn't it? £6,000 and the possibility of going to win another 20.
Well, you get to the last 3 of the final table of 6 and you're picking up another 5, so
yeah,
it is the passport to further riches.
Call.
Okay.
No raise.
He likes to flat. Just check with ace deuce, Mark. It's worked for him a couple of times. Oh.
King 4, 4. Check.
Trips for Matthew. 3 4s and a conservative check, hoping to lure Mark in.
Oh, an ace would be the
9,
card that would
check.
get cause a lot of trouble.
$200 bet.
Good bet. Very cheeky little bet, enough to call.
200 called.
Good bet by Matthew Williams. Not wanting to lose, Mark.
5. Check.
Matthew Stevens will have another look. Another small one, a little tiddler to try and hook him again.
300 would be about right.
300.
Yeah, enough to tempt you to call. Knowing you've won, just a flat call. He nearly called with an ace a little bit earlier, said he wanted to. He's done it.
That's a good hand. Matthew Stevens delighted with that. 3 4s and the king. And he's now got more than twice as much as mine. That's the first time that has happened since about hand 15. He's up above £4,000.
Yeah, you say.
A lead of 2,300 quid.
3, 4. Well, this hand, anyway. Whatever you're.
Yeah.
You may be in a real position. I might give you that now if it's that bad. I can't see it, man.
First hand at level 7 of the blinds. 150 the small blind, 300 the big blind. Just when he needed a hand. And he needs Matthew to have a hand. Matthew's got a hand.
More.
Christmas for Mark Williams.
Incredible. Incredible. Aces against jacks. It'll be all in before the flop. You know, music to Mark's ears. Raise and then, or flat call and then a raise, and he's sitting there with aces. I don't think you have to be Einstein to really work out now. There's no point in having the flop, because there's enough in there and he's obligated to call, Matthew Stevens. Oh, he's flat called it. The only problem is if it comes king, queen or an ace, he might not get more out of Matthew. Low flop and they both be all in.
Jack obviously is a shocker for Mark. It goes without saying. Jack and 2 rags, and he'll think he's well set.
Yeah.
Well,
Queen
3
8,
diamonds
3.
makes it very interesting as well, because Matthew's got a diamond, Mark hasn't. So he has the diamond draw.
Morning.
All in.
See the one
Call.
The one problem I was going to say could be that for Matthew, if he checked and Mark made the bet, he could get away from the hand with a flop like that.
Diamond for Matthew.
But he's got some outs. He's got a jack and he's got a diamond.
I had a look. I didn't know
not as good a shape as you think. Mark will be certainly concerned by that flop.
I'd rather you put a diamond than a jack. I'd rather you put 2 blacks there, to be honest.
Not a black jack, Mark.
Oh, I thought it was a 7 of diamonds again.
Hey, move sharp.
You can see a diamond coming. Come on. You can just see a diamond coming.
Thanks, man.
I fancy a jack of clubs.
This is a huge card.
There it is.
You can just see it coming.
And it is the
It's
2 of diamonds.
Before, wasn't it?
Yeah.
He eliminated Ken Doherty really early on, back in hand 12.
Congratulations, well done.
When the 7 of diamonds came down on the river, and he's done it with the 2 of diamonds on the river, right on cue. Matthew Stevens with a king flush wins the tournament, and Mark with pocket bullets heads up leaves by the back door.
Very tricky. Flop absolutely killed him. As we see, gets a diamond draw and the river card. What can you say? Aces against jacks, and the jacks have come out on top.
Yeah, you could just see it coming, couldn't you? Just really one of those things.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just...
Limo home for Matthew and the bus for Mark. But being able to say that you're the top snooker player in poker is going to mean just as much as the money. Let's hear from them both.
A bit of a sick net to go out, but you know, if you watch most tournaments, someone always ends up going out on a bad beat like that. Otherwise, the tournament would never end. But it was just unfortunate for me for that to happen. But you know, overall, I enjoyed it, and you know, I hope you can do well in the final and win it.
You know, me and Mark good friends, but when it comes to snooker or poker, you know, we're worst enemies. But you know, it was good. It was a great day and it's good fun. Looking forward to coming back.
Up next week, the darts boys leave the oche to throw cards. Darts legends like Eric Bristow and Phil the Power Taylor will be after the bullets rather than bullseyes. And one of them will join snooker's Matthew Stevens on the final table.